Good morning, Elimination. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're so glad that you are here. Welcome to Hot Topics. And boy, do we have a hot show for you today. And it's an interesting turn of events right now, where it appears the body is rejecting itself, eating its own organs, or eating its own organizations, Doge perhaps. So it's interesting because I'm going to play something. Someone has been predicting this. I wasn't so sure that I agreed with it at first, but I'm going to show you. I like showing evidence. You know that. And by the way, welcome. I'm so glad. Where are you streaming from? Let me know. So glad that you are here. Make sure you hit the likes, you hit the thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe. And the membership link is at the top of the chat. Okay. If you hit the thumbs up, it affects the algorithm and more people get to be aware of our conversation and our channel. So again, we're happy that you're here. Welcome to Clement, Florida, Illinois, Oregon, Dallas, Missouri. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So look, I told you last week that we live in a Doge eat Doge world, remember? And I will stand by that. But what has become increasingly clear is that we live in a MAGA eats MAGA world. What do I mean by that? Okay, evidence. Last night, Republicans narrowly passed a budget resolution that calls for $4.5 trillion in tax cut to the uber wealthy and a $2 trillion reduction in federal spending over an entire decade. And that is gutting Medicaid and entitlement programs used by everyday Americans. And that means it's used mainly by the folks who are in red states, and it's used by MAGA supporters, Republicans who live in red states where blue states are funding. Remember, blue states are the ones that fund the red states because the red states are usually not as populous as the blue states. Therefore, they can't afford many of their own programs and their own infrastructure. So then the blue states put more money into the till to help the red states. But this is going to affect the red states more. Folks who are in blue states, they will be affected, but not so much as the red states. MAGA is now in the find out portion of FAFO. Republicans just sold you out, folks. Okay? So I'm glad that I joined you this morning. You joined me this morning, and I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to go. Look, I took my time the last couple of days because I had so much to talk about. There were people I needed to discuss. I did some things that I don't normally do. I paid attention to people who thrive on, that attention, but I think it needed to be said. I think it needed to be said because everybody's thinking it, and people are just like, oh my God, I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of her. I'm so sick of whatever. And I said it. I said what I said. Now, but let's talk about this FAFO stage and MAGA eating MAGA, MAGA resenting MAGA, MAGA rejecting MAGA. Now, I don't know if you've seen this because we've had so much to cover. We've covered George Reed. We had a lot to cover this week. This is James Carville. James Carville was on with my friend Dan Abrams, and he has been predicting that there's a problem with MAGA. Houston, we have a problem with MAGA and with this Trump administration, this Trump government. And I'm sure you've seen all the pictures from around the country, right? They have stopped going to town halls. They're pulling back because they're getting an earful from their own constituents, MAGA, people in red states. Are you listening to me? I want you to pay attention. I have my coffee. You have your coffee. You got my tea. You got your tea. Let's pay attention. Here's James Carville. I'm going to play all of it for you. Watch.
So, Dan, this is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion. Della Volpe at Harvard, who's very good. I used to think, once I saw a Harvard youth poll, I discounted it. I've come to say it's a pretty damn good poll. Pretty good guy. He's gone from 53 approval to under 30 to 39. That's a collapse. And all we need to do, the analogy I use, is picket is 500 yards from the stone wall. Hold your fire. It's going to be easy pickings here in 6 weeks. Just lay back.
So you literally think 30 days to 6 weeks, the
So,
Trump administration is effectively going to collapse in terms of public support?
well, it's collapsing right now. We're in the midst of a collapse. This is the lowest approval, not even close, that any president has ever had at a comparable time. Again, that's a provable fact. So they're not going to be able to get a debt extension. That's pretty clear. I don't think they're going to be able to pass reconciliation, but I'm not sure. But they're going to have to go to Hakeem. And that is going to be the equivalent of stacking arms. It's over. We can't go without you. And I think the House Democrats, and this is going to shock a lot of people, I think they know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly what's going to happen. And I've never been a sick fan. I think Democrats make a lot of mistakes, but I think these guys know what's coming, and they know how they're going to handle it. And Mike Johnson's going to have no other choice. He's going to have to go. And when he does, that's surrender. It's going to happen quickly.
What do you think of that? He's talking about the polls. Now, I'm going to show you some evidence of folks around the country, but since he's talking about the polling, I want to go to the polling. I want to go to my friend over at the CNN, and that's Harry Enton, talking about the polling. James Carville said this is the worst of any president at this point in history, in modern history, the worst polling. And Harry Enton, you know, he's a numbers guy over at CNN. I think he was just promoted to be like their chief numbers dude. This is what Harry Enton is saying about the Trump MAGA Doge approval rating. Watch.
Rutrow, the reboot not as well received as the original. Economy is currently good or excellent. Look at this. In April of 2017, it was 40%. Look at where we are in February of 2025, just half that level. 20%. My goodness gracious. The term one high was 63% of Americans in February of 2020 thought the economy was excellent or good. This 20% we have currently going on right now is fewer Americans saying the economy is excellent or good than at any point during Trump's first term. This is not a good sign, Kate Baldwin.
J.D. Vance said last week, you got to give them time, even though that's not what they promised in the campaign. They said they bring prices down day one. But what is the view of the future economy then? Yeah,
so this is the current economy. How about the future economy? Is the economy getting worse or better? And all I can say is yikes. Yikes. Again, compare it to where we were in the first term at this point, April of 2017, 53%. The majority said it was getting better. How about now in February of 2025? The majority say it's getting worse. 59% compared to just 35% who say it's getting better. Worse is higher now than at any point in Trump's first term pre-COVID. This number, to me, is much more worrisome. Perhaps the worst number I've seen for Trump on the economy, because it says even if the economy now isn't great, they also project that it's only going to get worse from here. This is a big, big yikes.
And
Yikes.
withholding
Okay,
inflation,
so
just the general views on inflation.
Yeah, okay. Another one. There is another one that Harry talked about, and let's see what the numbers dude at CNN is saying. There's another one. Here it is.
Is the people are mad. They are angry. They are
Doge.
rising up. Take a look here. Top worst things that Trump has done. This is among the folks who oppose Trump actions in office so far. You might have thought going into the election or afterwards it'd be immigration policy, but that comes in at just 10%. Check out on this side of the screen, though. I'm coming over to Mr. Berman's side. Musk, Doge, or the funding freezes, right? These funding cuts. Look at that. That takes the cake. 24%. That is the top answer amongst those who oppose Donald Trump's actions in office, saying it is the worst thing that he has done so far. It's Musk, it's Doge, it's those funding cuts. The people are mad, and if last night is an example, that town hall, they ain't going to take it anymore.
Okay, this is among those who oppose Trump's actions in office. Is there a difference, sort of, across party lines?
Yeah, okay. So let's zoom in on Elon Musk, right? We're going to zoom in on Elon Musk, Doge, and the access, of course, they have to the data. This is from our poll. The most significant Trump action this term so far. Look at this. Democrats are more angry about this than Republicans are happy about it. Look at this. Democrats, 18% say that the Musk, Doge, access to data is the most significant action so far for Trump this term. Bring it over to this side of the screen. Look at this. Just 9% of Republicans say that Musk, Doge and the access to data is the most significant Trump action so far. So Elon Musk is becoming this rallying point for anger, this rallying point for anger on the left. And he's not really doing much for the right, who are going, yeah, we like what's going on, but it's not close to the most significant thing he's doing so far. For them, they're much more likely to say something like immigration.
You know, people who run elections.
All right, so listen, how wasn't this a couple of days ago? Was this before all of the? Maybe it was after all of these rallies around the country, these town halls around the country. Is this new or is this a couple of days old? Producers, do we know? Bueller, anyone? Bueller. No one's answering me.
The McCormick video? Is that what you're talking about?
No. The polling from Harry Inton.
Oh, yes. That was, I think, 3 days old.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Harry's going to have some updated polling because the folks around the country who are in deep red states, who are giving their lawmakers, their very own representatives, an earful, I think that polling is going to change. MAGA is rejecting MAGA at this point. And I know there are some MAGA trolls who are in the chat always some MAGA trolls. But are you listening? You need to pay attention, MAGA trolls, because this is you. You're going to be affected by this the most. I would be listening to what James Carville said. I would be listening to what Jasmine Crockett said about what comes next with keeping the government open and funded. And if Democrats say nope and they just stand aside, it's going to be tough. So let me give you some evidence. I love to give evidence on this program. Okay? Let me give you some evidence here. So, man, you know what is bizarre before I give you the evidence? Let me get to these settings here because I believe, folks, that where is the image, the mirror, Andy? I think it's backwards. There we go. It's right on my screen, but for some reason, Andy, but why is it flipped around?
You look right on my screen too.
Even on the YouTube, though?
It should be.
It's okay. Looks like it's reversed on my YouTube, which is weird. I'm looking at both feeds. It just threw me off for a bit. So I don't know what's really going on, but can we just figure it out? If we can figure it out, maybe it's me. I think it's that thing. It says mirror screen. But for some reason, when I mirror it on here, I wonder if it mirrors it on the YouTube. I'm just going to try it. Stand by, folks.
You look normal on my YouTube.
You look perfectly normal.
Yeah, you look normal.
Okay. So it's me.
I think it's just you.
It's not you. It's not me. It's you. It's not you. It's me.
It's not us. It's you.
It's not us. It's
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to what I'm doing. All right, let me fix this because I took the mirror thing off. I'm going to put it back on. All right. So here we go. Okay, thank you for doing that. Okay, so I love to show evidence on this program. So let me show you some evidence of what's been happening around the country, okay? So this is why folks are saying, hey, hey, MAGA, we have a problem. And this is why they're saying, MAGA, we have a problem. So this is McCormick. I believe this is a town hall with Representative McCormick. Watch this.
I'll pause whenever you want, and you can go and yell all you want.
What you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected.
Yeah. Okay, so we've seen that, and he got an earful, and there were others. I don't know. Do we have anybody else? Do we have any others around? I know that we have this report, or there's a headline from NBC and from others that Republicans are now pulling back on their town halls because guess what? They're pulling back because they're getting an earful and it is backfiring. They don't want to embarrass themselves. They're trying not to embarrass the president. Republicans, House Republicans, hit the brakes on town halls after blowback over Trump's cuts. Are you hearing that? Because MAGA is rejecting MAGA, it means what? Their own constituents, their own MAGA folks who are in the towns who are feeling this, who are worried about it, They are rejecting their very own representatives, and they are rejecting Donald Trump. The representatives are afraid to answer questions about who started the war in Ukraine. Did Ukraine start the war? Well, can't really answer that. You know why they can't answer it? Because Donald Trump has said that Ukraine is the aggressor, and they know full well that that is not true, but they can't say it because they're afraid of dear leader. But the folks, as Bill O'Reilly used to say, I don't know why I thought of that. The folks are saying, hey, we've been supporting Ukraine. We know who the real aggressor is. Why aren't you calling Vladimir Putin a dictator and you're calling Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator? Wait, what is going on? People aren't stupid, Donald Trump and MAGA representatives who are afraid of the dear leader, afraid to discuss what's actually and answer people correctly. Here's a report on how they're pulling back. Watch.
It won't play. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. Maybe you got to reset it.
I'm Charlie Keegan outside Random's Coffee in downtown Belton. Monday morning, a huge crowd showed up to speak with Representative Mark Alford. This is the first time he'd held this kind of town hall style event since Trump took office.
I can't hear her follow up.
The people who made it into the coffee shop were talking over each other, calling Alford names, and booing his answers. Alford stood there for an hour and a half, answering the questions, even if most of his answers toed the Republican talking points, which only antagonized the crowd. The people here live inside and outside Alford's district. They covered everything from Elon Musk to the Ukrainian war, along with immigration, laying off federal employees. Alford told the crowd he feels bad for people who've lost their jobs at places like the IRS, and that God has a plan for them.
You are not a victim, you are a victor, and you will be able to get another job and provide for yourself and your family. I'm confident of that.
We are the hardworking federal employees that make this government run every single day, and we are being discounted by those in Washington claiming that we're the swamp and we're the fraud, waste, and abuse. No.
Alford's team said it'll look for a larger venue for the next event of this style. They don't have a date on the calendar yet. Charlie Keegan, KSHB 41 News.
Thanks, Charlie Keegan, for that. That was actually a really great report. Did we ever find the NBC report? I thought it was Peter Alexander, but it could be the other guy. If we have it, I would like to play that. But also I want to play, remember I mentioned to you about Ukraine, a very simple question that people are just flummoxed about. They're dumbfounded. When they go to these town halls, you said they talked about everything from Doge to Ukraine to the, getting rid of the funds for USAID to firing federal workers, all of that, freezing federal funds. But they talked about Ukraine. And it is interesting because this is backfiring as well on the MAGA. Watch this, part of a town hall where they're discussing Ukraine.
Personally, do you support Ukraine or Russia?
Well, no, it's not easy, ma'am. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Is Zelensky a dictator, yes or no?
That part I have a problem with that statement, yes.
Okay, did Ukraine start the war?
Well,
it's simple.
Do you support
Did Ukraine start the war, yes or no? Did Ukraine start the war, yes or
Let
no?
him answer. Let him answer, ma'am.
Well, ma'am, I will. Just hang on a second. Is that your question? Did they start the war?
That's part of it. I want to know where you stand
It's not part of
on
it.
Ukraine or Russia. We have been supporting Zelensky for years now. 3 years since Putin started this. Now we're isolating, or he is isolating America. He's calling names and all this. Where do you stand?
Let me just say this. This is not the tactic that I would use to try to solve the problem. And I've said that openly.
Wow, wow, wow. Can't even answer that. Kevin Hearn in Oklahoma can't even answer that. Wow. What do you guys, I don't even really know what to say except for, is James Carville right? I think that folks believe James Carville is so right that they actually, I don't know if they asked him, but he did write an article for the New York Times saying that MAGA is turning on MAGA and saying that he believes, we can put the article up, he believes that this government, at least for their popularity and perhaps just in general, that it is turning on itself and that it will collapse. James Carville, it's time for a daring political maneuver, Democrats, that he wrote about. Can we scroll through a little bit? Let's see what James Carville has to say here as he discusses this. The Republican Party is all too often effective at campaigning and winning elections, but there's another fact about it that a lot of Americans forget. The Republican Party flat out sucks at governing. It's true. The Republican Party, terrible at governing, great at messaging, great at campaigning, great at sort of the politics of the, getting people to, the politics of it, ousting their speaker, all kinds of shit like that. They're good at, but they're not actually good at governing. Even Tucker Carlson agrees with this. For all the huffing and puffing on the campaign trail in 2016, the first Trump administration largely amounted to tax cuts for the wealthy, 500 miles of border wall, and a destructive pandemic gone viral. George W. Bush got us into a harebrained war in Iraq and then tried to privatize Social Security while letting our financial system drive smack into the Great Recession. And George H.W. Bush governed his way into a one-term presidency because of the economy. And then he goes on to give evidence. I love that he gives evidence of this. Because a lot of what the Republicans do and the MAGAs do, they always say it's about facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. And then they have very little facts, if any. It's just about feelings. Kim Page says the GOP is great at bullshit. The GOP is great at bullshit. That's one thing that they're right about. For round two in office, instead of prioritizing the problems he campaigned on, public safety, immigration, and border, and most of all, the economy, President Trump is hell-bent on dismantling the federal government. To accomplish this, he has put his faith in the most incompetent cabinet in modern history, a Health and Human Services Secretary who is already targeting federal vaccination efforts and dumped a bear carcass in Central Park as a fun prank at the age 60. A director of national intelligence who was devoted to an allegedly abusive yoga-centered cult, a WWE tycoon turned head of the Department of Education, and a former cable news talking head as defense secretary. Which will result in one clear thing: disorder. There will probably be more enormous tax cuts for the wealthy and Medicaid cuts hitting a lot of people. But there is nothing the American public despises more than disorder and a broken economy. And there's nothing Democrats can legitimately do to stop it, even if they wanted to. Except what James Carville says is to let it happen and let them flounder. Now, I agree with that somewhat, but I don't believe that folks should not be out there talking about it. Democrats like Jasmine Crockett, etc. He's saying just go silent. Just let them fall in their faces. Take your hands off of the wheel. Take your hands off of it at all. You don't want any of your fingerprints on it at all. I agree somewhat, but I still believe that Democrats should be out there talking about the terrible things that are happening to the people in this country, especially as it relates to their wallet and it relates to Medicaid and Medicare. They're gutting Medicaid and entitlement programs used by everyday Americans. A $4.5 trillion tax cut to the uber wealthy. A $2 trillion reduction in federal spending over a decade. That's going to affect average, everyday people. And this is what James Carville is talking about. We'll see. He said 30 days. He said 30 days. The MAGA party is rejecting itself. 71% of Trump voters oppose Medicaid cuts. This is a new poll that The Hill published. 71% of Trump voters oppose Medicaid cuts. That is a 71% disapproval of what MAGA, Donald Trump, Doge, what they are doing. Hakeem Jeffries is on the House floor. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see if he's strong this time. Do we have him?
And don't come to the House floor and act like this was being done in the name of fiscal responsibility. Enough with that narrative. There's nothing in the Republican track record to suggest to the American people that you are the party of fiscal responsibility. Absolutely nothing. President Reagan comes into office. His signature legislative accomplishment is a massive unpaid for tax cut for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. And what does it do? Increases the debt by $2 trillion. That's not fiscal responsibility. That's recklessness. That's your record. Those kind of fiscal policies continued for 8 years, carried over into the presidency of George H.W. Bush. And then we see a massive debt handed over to President Bill Clinton. What do Democrats do with that massive debt? We turn that debt into a surplus over an 8-year period of time, and the economy exploded. That's what fiscal responsibility looks like. That happened
can you pause that,
under
please?
President Bill.
Okay. So, Evil Queen, Yaya, whatever it is. I don't know exactly. I don't want to be insulting. I think it's Yaya. I think you're right. Hakeem, get mad. I appreciate he's trying to explain to people this is what happened. Oh, Jesus. Do y'all feel me? I don't want to this is a target rich, evidence rich, talking point rich environment. And what are they doing? Jeffrey's too soft, not a strong leader. Schumer needs to go, says T 1974. I'm just saying, there's so much material here. And he's giving a dissertation on the House floor. I love that. Okay, fine, giving evidence, but he doesn't get angry enough. He's too even keel, says Amanda Jackie. Even in the interviews, when they ask him questions like, get mad, do something, he needs to go off, says Kelster 4. He needs to go off. What is him being mad going to do? It's not that he needs to be mad, Nina 518. He needs to show the American. Okay, Nina, let me just say this. What is him being mad going to do? What are those people who are in those town halls around the country and they got mad at their lawmakers and they stood up? What did that do? That's very helpful. The lawmakers know how they feel. The lawmakers know that they care, that they are energized about it, that they are in fact angry, that they're concerned, that they don't want it to happen. If Hakeem showed some emotion, I think maybe Democrats and folks who are not non-MAGA people will understand that they have some fire in their belly, that there is some urgency about what is going on. Michelle Joyner says, I feel you. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, that there is some urgency that you have learned in this sort of era, sadly, that Trump ushered in, that going on the House floor, they're giving away to the ultra wealthy. This is unconstitutional. This is bad Americans. They should not be doing this. Doesn't work now. Civility went out the window a long time ago. Get upset, Jeffrey, says Jay West. That's what the people want. I don't know. So look, you can all you want. I don't what it's going to do. I'm not a lawmaker, but if I was, I believe that I'd have some urgency, some passion. I like Hakeem Jeffries, but again, I'm a journalist. I have to report. Like I said that I had to report on the Joy Reid thing. I like the head of MSNBC. I consider her a friend. She is a former coworker. She was my executive producer, but I had to report on it and be critical of what's happening at the network and in media in general. That's just what you have to do. I actually like Hakeem Jeffries. I think there's a place for Hakeem Jeffries, but I think Hakeem Jeffries is tone deaf right now and doesn't understand. Let's see if he maybe he gets some. You can tell me if you disagree with me, because you know I read your text, your chat. Tell me if you disagree with me. I want to know. But let's listen a little bit more and see. Maybe he gets. I don't know. Maybe there's something educational in this, and he gets a little bit more animated. I don't know. Let's see. Go on.
Clinton, stop saying to the American people that you're the party of fiscal responsibility. The facts say exactly the opposite. And so a budget surplus is handed over to President George W. Bush, who proceeds in 2001 and then again in 2003 to pass massive tax cuts, same playbook, here we go again, massive tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected that explode the debt by $8 trillion. And at the same time, we have a failed war in Iraq and a failed war in Afghanistan. Over time, adding another $8 trillion to our nation's debt.
Okay. So we're back in 2003, 4, 5, 6. Look, JL's disagree. Put some disagreements up. I want to talk to you about that. Someone says the angry man never wins. Someone said, I disagree, Don. I love that you disagree with me. That you can disagree here. This is your channel. I don't expect him to be angry and go, oh, with his head popping off. Don, I think respectfully needs to be cool and keep the blue wall from breaking, says John Jenkin. Okay, Jenkin. I respect your opinion. But do you think he needs to talk more normally rather than like a college professor? That's not his style, says Guinevere Kropp. Okay, then if that's not his style, then perhaps there should be another messenger and he should be the one behind the scenes. He has sparks here and there, but I don't think it's enough, says Jose Marenco, excuse me. Perhaps there are better messengers. Hakeem has our permission to take off his polite cape, says Christy Patterson. Democratic voters, non-MAGA voters, are tired of the respectability politics. Wanda 53 says that's corporate money in his ears. That corporate money is in his ears. I don't know about that. What exactly do you want to see from him? Someone says in the chat. I want to see some passion. I want to see some action. I want to see the necktie off. And I'm sure he probably does that. I want to see him talking like real people. And perhaps this is just who he is. I don't know. But even Barack Obama took his necktie off. Even Barack Obama at a beer summit, even he got passionate and told people about themselves. Hakeem is black. He can't get mad and scare the white people, Don. You know that, says Sharon Gonzalez. I don't know if people are in that mode right now. I understand that the rules are different for us. I get that. You don't want to be the angry black man. Obama had to do that as well. We're different. We're loud. People, oh my God, you're scaring me. They don't get as scared for some reason when Italians get loud, because Italians are loud. My Italian friends speak as loudly as my black friends. And some of my other friends whose, I'm talking about, whose mom beat them with the sandals, loud too. But for some reason, the rules are different for us. We're threatening when we're black men when we raise our voices or we get angry. I know my friend Monique is saying if folks want hollering and whatever. Monique, I have to disagree with you. Folks want some hollering. They want some sermons. They need it. They need a balm regardless, whatever you think, if it's going to accomplish anything. They need to know that Democrats are passionate and they're out there doing something and not just behind the scenes. What Hakeem Jeffries is doing right here is a PowerPoint presentation. Hakeem is showing the Repubs their receipts. Let him finish, says Demetrius Banks. Okay, I agree with that. I said maybe there's something educational in that. But if it's going to be educational, then you need to know how to do it in a way that is engaging, that doesn't put people asleep in the Congress and the folks who are watching. That's why some folks are preachers. That's why some folks are TV hosts who whatever, is because you have that ability to be able to do it. And what I'm saying, not everybody can do it. Perhaps they should have left this part right here. Maybe that should have been left up to, maybe Jasmine Crockett should be doing this. Because when she gives the receipts, she brings them. When AOC gives the receipts, you're watching, you're sitting on the edge of your seat watching. What is she going to say? Maybe this should be Eric Swalwell giving this. And I'm just saying, Democrats, understand the moment that you're in. Not a PowerPoint presentation. If you're going to give a PowerPoint presentation, we need some swag. Do you remember? We love Obama because he has swag. These are unprecedented times, and it calls for righteous anger and righteous indignation. Thank you, Bobby Lee. Monique is texting me. I don't soft talking Nancy, and we're not talking. Nancy Pelosi is gone. We're over it. We're moved on. Let's go into the future. All of that is back behind. That's over. We're done. We're done with that. We're done with the people saying, you got to go. We need to put this person in this position, whatever. Put the person in the position who the public is asking for, who the public is drawn to. The public is drawn to people like Jasmine Crockett. The public is drawn to people like Eric Swalwell. Who should the leader of the House Democrats be? This is what it says. Who should the leader? Our poll is up right now. Who should the leader of the House Democrats be? Should it be Hakeem Jeffries? Should it be Eric Swalwell? Should it be AOC? Should it be Jasmine Crockett? Over 1,000 of you have voted on this. I'm just going to give it to you, okay? Because the people want what they want. The people be wanting what they be wanting, okay? And the people say Eric Swalwell, 9%. Hakeem Jeffries, 14%. AOC, 16%. And Jasmine Crockett, 62%. They don't want, back in 1987, when Reagan was the president, and then look at this chart, and they brought you a debt, and there was a war back when Reagan was the president. Yeah, I get it's not his style. What I'm trying to tell you, Guinevere Crop, if it's not his style, then put someone up there that can do the style that the people want right now. That's what politics is about, giving people what they want. Get someone up there who's going to say, look, these folks over here, the bleach blonde, bad built butch body, while she's out here talking shit, she is cutting federal funds and Medicaid for the American people. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The people want what they want. And right now, When MAGA is floundering, it's time to draw the attention to the Democrats who can tell you about the MAGA folks. And you're not going to get that by going, there's a $4.5 trillion giveaway to the ultra wealthy. No, they sold you out, man. Because this has been happening since Reagan and for the George Bush, before the George Bush. I got facts. You want some receipts? Here are the receipts right here. Look behind me. This is the receipts. These are the receipts right here. Come up here. Get over here, Eric Swalwell. Help me do this. Help me talk about this. AOC. AOC is there flipping the board for him or something. Desperate times have to be called for desperate measures. Thank you, Sylvia Strong. People, I'm fair. I criticize everybody. I criticize everybody. Let's see what Adam Schiff is talking about. Adam Schiff is exposing Musk and Trump. That's what I'm told by the producers. Let's see.
Sorry, give me 1 second, Don.
Yes, sir. I can wait. How long is it going to take you? A long time?
All right, I got it.
All right. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up while Andy's doing his thing. Here we go.
You saw this today, but another near miss, this time on a tarmac in Chicago.
Southwest, I thought it was 2504 going around.
So this near miss in Chicago is one of several near misses, and of course there was the terrible crash of the plane and the helicopter over the Potomac. Normally, in a normal world, when we're having problems like this, where just about every week it seems there's a near miss or worse, a crash, you would be investing in the kind of resources at FAA, or you'd be doing investigations, or you'd be doing something to try to improve passenger and air safety. That is not what is happening. Instead, Trump is firing people at the FAA. He got rid of the entire FAA Safety Commission. Now, they say that they're not firing air traffic controllers. So who are they firing? They're firing people involved with navigation, landing, and radar. Now, I'm not a pilot. I don't even play a pilot on TV. But it seems to me navigation, landing, radar, pretty important for air travel. So while they're firing these people, this is what else they're doing. They're giving Elon Musk a big new contract with the FAA. I kid you not. His Starlink company's just got this big contract to help manage the technology of our airspace. They say this is about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. That's bull. You know what this is really about? This is about enriching Elon Musk and Donald Trump and their buddies. It's about cutting essential services to make room for a big tax cut. But it's also about this kind of graft where Elon Musk, with all his conflicts of interest, he gets a new government contract. Apparently, they think everything else should be cut but Elon Musk's contracts.
Yeah.
This from the guy, Donald Trump, who said some years ago he was going to drain the swamp.
Okay, that's enough.
The swamp is over.
Close. Close. But no cigar. Jasmine Crockett was on this program yesterday, and also Jasmine Crockett had a few choice words and had the energy that I think most Democrats want right now. Here's Jasmine Crockett.
Directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's
it.
Pause. Can you play it back to the beginning? Someone said, "What would you say? What would you what message would you give to Elon Musk directly?" And this is what she said.
Directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
Listen, we have power so long as we stand together. Right now, if the government shuts down on March 14th, they're going to try to blame Democrats and say the Democrats shut it down. Well, no, we didn't. Because guess what? We're in the minority. But so long as we stand strong and not one Democrat falters, let me tell you, there are going to be Republicans that don't want to vote for this, and they can't lose more than one vote. So long as we stand together and so long as we're here, and the Republicans, they're dysfunctional. They can't get this done by themselves.
Okay, good. Okay, do we have? Let me know if you have her from yesterday on our program. If you have a soundbite, because that would be great. I would love to be able to play that. Okay, just natural, easy, and maybe that comes from. She said yesterday that it comes from that she and Eric Swalwell were attorneys. She said she said they were trial lawyers, and so that they were different. People are just tired of the old way. People are tired of the politics as usual. People are tired of even the way that the way politics were under Barack Obama. That era is over. That's not politics anymore. That is a horse and buggy in an electric car age. Those days are gone. And so the people are having, they're trying, but you see, it's a hard time. Now, what do I do with this thing? Okay, right here, and I just talk right into this. Should I loosen my tie? Should I loosen? Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to. But you guys know that I'm a boomer when it comes to technology too. I mean, come on. But do you guys feel me? This is do we have any Jasmine Crockett from our show or no?
It's going to take a minute or two. But Don, you know what I just realized? As you noted, Eric Swalwell, former trial attorney, Jasmine Crockett, former trial attorney, AOC, former bartender. What do they all have in common? For a living, they had to speak to real people. They had to come off as likable and charismatic and communicate with real people. And I think that's why they're arguably the only 3 Democrats who are meeting the moment right now. Maybe there are a couple of others, but those 3 are the best.
Yeah, thank you. And I agree with that 100%. And also, they are newer to this. Look, Eric Swalwell is a little bit, has been about it a little bit longer, I believe, or maybe he came in with AOC, but I think he's been there a little bit longer. But I think it's because they're newer at this. And they have not been raised up in the decorum at all costs, in the respectability politics, because it doesn't work now, especially when you look at how the Republicans are handling themselves, especially when you look at that. The poll that is up now, 3,000 of you, more than 3,000 of you had voted. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think, okay? More than 3,000 of you have voted. Who should be the leader of the House Democrats? Eric Swalwell, 8%. Hakeem Jeffries, 13%. AOC, 15%. Jasmine Crockett, 64%.
I have some clips from your interview with Jasmine Crockett ready.
Roll it. Roll one of them. Let's see whichever one she's talking about, how Democrats what they should be doing in this moment. Roll it.
Question is, Elon, what have you done besides tear us apart, besides be in over your head, besides make sure that you continue to enrich yourself so that not only you can continue to be the richest person in the world, but you can make sure that other people that are already struggling, unfortunately, end up falling on even harder times?
So, Congresswoman, when was that? And he asked you, the person asked you, what would you say if you could speak directly to Elon Musk? And I love your response. And I think that the American people will love it too. So
actually, there were a number of influencers that came out today. Leader Jeffries organized a big news conference. And that news conference had everyday people telling their very real stories. And they had those of us that understand that we work for the American people standing behind them in support. And then there were influencers on the side afterwards. And so we did a bit of a quick kind of presser with myself and a number of influencers. And I was asked, what would I say if, I could say something to Elon Musk, and I said what I said. So, here's the deal. I don't have much to say to him. Like, the fact that we're having all these conversations about him is already a problem. This is not somebody that was appointed and has to be Senate confirmed. This is not someone that was duly elected. This is not even someone who has a full-time gig with the federal government, yet we are constantly talking about him because he is exceeding his powers. So my real questions are, Elon, if you're not running Doge, then who is? Because y'all told the courts that Elon isn't running Doge, but then we hear that OPM sends out an email to all of the federal government employees talking about, tell me what you did in the last week, give me 5 bullet points. My question is, Elon, what have you done besides tear us apart, besides be in over your head, besides make sure that you continue to enrich yourself so that not only you can continue to be the richest person in the world, but you can make sure that other people that are already struggling, unfortunately, end up falling on even harder times.
Now, keep the other one standing by. Now, can we go back to Hakeem Jeffries?
Yeah, let me grab it again.
Just go back to there. Do you have another Jasmine Crockett clip?
Yeah, I have Jeffries, though. I just don't remember where we left off exactly.
That's okay. Well, you can find it. Play another Jasmine Crockett, and then we'll play that one.
And that he gets so upset is because he doesn't want people to check him in real time. I mean, we saw this even throughout the campaign. And what was really frustrating is that he laid the foundation for this type of fealty, because during the campaign, he wouldn't show up to a debate or anything else unless there was an agreement that he would not be fact checked. Same thing with his vice presidential nominee, now the vice president, who we saw during that vice presidential debate get so up in arms because he said, wait a minute, you're not supposed to fact check me. Like, they don't want facts because the facts are not on their side. And that is the thing. If we as Democrats can communicate and get the facts across and make sure that we can shut down all the lies and the propaganda and the misinformation and the disinformation and just get people to know the real, then the problem is the real doesn't work out well for them. It doesn't work out well when you tell people that, yes, I want people like Elon Musk to have more money, and I want you, a person who's just trying to make it, I don't want you to have that $6 a day for SNAP benefits. I don't want you to have access to education, because then you can potentially move up as it relates to your economic opportunities. Like, if you have a real conversation, then people tend to say, oh, I don't like that.
Well, there you go. Do we have Hakeem Jeffries yet?
So he cuts the deficit by $1 trillion, from 1.5 trillion to 500 billion. You asked about numbers? Here are the numbers. And then that gets handed over to President Trump in his first term, who proceeds, of course, to follow the same Republican playbook. Has nothing to do with fiscal responsibility and everything to do with massive tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
Okay. Now, you guys remember when I did this, I'm going off a little bit, when I put the thing out saying that the Democrats need to groom a bench, and they need to make room, pardon me, give some oxygen to the younger people in their party, the people who the people are calling for. People aren't calling for these guys that are, I'm sorry. Give the people what they want. The people want this. Watch.
Musk is not going after efficiency. He's not going after making these things better for people. He's trying to steal Medicaid so that he can enrich himself. He is trying to gut everything that is good in America for his own private profit. We have an obligation to resist kings. We have an obligation to resist oligarchs. We will work in the streets, in the courts. We can overwhelm them. We outnumber them. Understand our power in this moment. Don't give up our power. Don't shy away from our power. Every small action matters. There's not one act that is going to save all of us. It is going to be the constant pressure and commitment to saving our democracy. They cannot withstand the constant, consistent pressure. They will crumble under it. Every day, our job is to wake up and say, what can I do today? And so when they try to come in, make them show a document. Make them assert their authority. Ask them, who are you? Who are you? Because at the end of the day, They're no one. And he thinks he's got a bank account with a lot of zeros in it, that it makes him some kind of super citizen. I don't think so. This is America. We will resist. We
Let me hear that part. We will resist.
will prevail. We outnumber them. They cannot sustain, and we cannot give up.
Okay. Do we have Hakeem Jeffries still queued up?
Republicans passed the GOP tax scam. 83% of the benefits set aside for the wealthiest 1%. And in connection with the GOP tax scam, explode the debt by another $2 trillion that you force working families, middle-class folks, and everyday Americans.
All right. And now Eric Swalwell.
It's 1:40 on Thursday, and last night in Washington, D.C., a American airline flight collided with a military helicopter, and every person on that plane is dead. Some of their bodies are still in the icy Potomac River. Search and rescue crews, first responders are risking their lives so that families can have closure. And our president, I mean, use that fucking term loosely today because he didn't act like a president at all. Our president thought that the best way to address the country and comfort the families was to make this political and blame DEI for the crash. He doesn't know shit about what happened. It was awful. It's a tragedy. We haven't had anything like this happen in America for 15 plus years. We've had this sense of security in the skies. And when we get on a plane, the next time we travel, we still want to have a sense of security. And so his job was to comfort us and to tell us there will be accountability and security in the future. It wasn't to go on the stage and be an absolute clown, an incompetent clown, by the way. Because if you want to start looking around at what could have caused this, we should probably look at all of the people who were fired who are in charge of air traffic and safety in America, because that happened last week. But I'm not even going to bring that up because these families are still suffering and they just want a commander-in-chief. They want a consoler-in-chief. They didn't get that today. I'm not shocked. You're not shocked. That's who he is. He doesn't rise to the occasion. He lowers himself to the occasion every single time. He's almost 80. He's not going to change. So we probably should not have expected anything better from this guy.
Thank you.
This guy.
Linda G. Can we see Hakeem outside for a minute? Where anyone? Where's the lie? This is the energy coming from the other side. Okay? This is the energy coming from the other side. This is Caroline Levitt demonizing the media. And she does it almost every single day. Here it is.
Did Amy Gleason start her job as DOJ administrator?
So Amy Gleason has been the DOJ administrator for quite some time, I believe several weeks, maybe a month. I'm not actually sure of the specific timeline. She's a career official. She's doing her job as the administrator of this organization. I know everybody's very interested in her name and who she is and what she does. There's a lot of people who work for the federal government. They're just trying to do their jobs, and that's what she's doing.
DOJ staffers told us yesterday that they found out about her being the administrator yesterday. Why is that?
You have to ask them. They're clearly unaware. I don't know.
Did you announce her position to the rest of the DOJ staff?
No, everybody knew, and we said who she was to all of you because you are hounds in the media who are so obsessed with this for some reason. So in the effort of transparency, we told you who that person is. There are so many bigger things in the world than who the Doge administrator is, but for some reason, everybody in the press corps is so obsessed with this that you were incessantly asking. So we thought, okay, we will be transparent. So now you know who it is. Any further questions?
Playing in your face. Playing in your face. Hounds in the media who are obsessed. Back in 1987, Ronald Reagan. I mean, come on. I hate to be so harsh, but come on. When you have people who own media companies, people who are like the Washington Post. Can we put up the Washington Post article, please? Because I didn't have a chance to read it. Washington Post, this is what I'm saying. This is what we're in. She's calling them hounds, media hounds who are obsessed. Washington Post opinion editor exits as Bezos, remember he was standing there with Donald Trump at the inauguration, as Bezos steers pages in new direction. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Post, said that the newspaper's opinion section would focus on personal liberties and free markets. Scroll up, please. Or down. The Washington Post opinion editor David Shipley is exiting as the newspaper's owner. Jeff Bezos said the section's focus would narrow to defend personal liberties. Where have you heard that? And free markets. What does that sound like to you? Personal liberties and free markets. That's a MAGA. That sounds like a MAGA-ism. I am of America and for America, and proud to be so, Mr. Bezos said in an email to the Post's employees on Wednesday. Our country did not get here by being typical. And a big part of America's success has been freedom in the economic realm and everywhere else. Freedom is ethical. It minimizes coercion and practical. It drives creativity, invention, and prosperity. In his tone, Mr. Bezos said that he asked Mr. Shipley whether he wanted to stay at the Post, and Mr. Shipley declined. I suggested to him that if the answer wasn't hell yes, then it had to be no, Mr. Bezos said. In a note to opinion staff members, Mr. Shipley said that he decided to step down after reflection on how I can best move forward in the profession I love. Usually editorial sections are free-willing because that's what it is. It's editorial. It's people's opinions. There aren't parameters usually, except for have it be based in facts. I will always be thankful for the opportunity I was given to work alongside a team of opinion journalists whose commitment to strong, innovative reported commentary inspired me every day, Mr. Shipley wrote. This is a developing story. Check back for updates. The times they are a-changin'. And folks who are supposed to be fighting for our democracy need to lean into the moment. Read the room. Have some passion. Stand up to tyranny. Don't bend the knee. Because otherwise, and this is AI generated, but the current president of the United States who has said he wants to make Gaza the Riviera of the Middle East, posted this. Watch closely. Again, I'm telling you, it's AI generated, but he has said he wants to make turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East. He's also saying that he wants to get $5 million or whatever, a gold card for citizenship in the United States. We're going to talk about that at 5 o'clock. Crazy. But this is what Donald Trump posted, and this is what I believe that he wants to do to Gaza. Palestinian folks, watch.
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.
You're muted, Don.
There you go. How do you feel about that? Those are the times that these are the times that we are in right now. These are the times that we are in right now. Now, I just want to look, there's something that I just want to talk about. Again, I just want to tell you this. Look, usually, as I have been saying to you guys, usually I don't like to pay this person, as they say, no, never mind. No, never mind. But I figure someone had to say it. Someone had to stand up, especially for the women who she insults on an almost daily, weekly, whatever basis. And she's supposed to be some big proponent of women's rights. She said something nasty about Joy Reid. And the reason that I did it is because I never take glee in anyone's downfall. I didn't take glee in Megyn Kelly. I'm talking about Megyn Kelly. I didn't take glee in her downfall when she was fired from NBC. I had to report on it as a journalist, but I didn't take glee on the downfall. And if you look back, I said, you know, NBC is to blame here. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And she posted something saying that I was sort of drafting off of her light or whatever, and I couldn't get any press or whatever. I was actually quite disappointed in it because I thought she would have a better response if she chose to respond to it. And it was a weak response. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so she's saying that I am doing it because I want press. No, that's not why I'm doing it. Actually, I felt weird doing it because it's something that is out of my character that I don't usually do. I don't usually respond, especially to trolls. And I believe that she has become a troll now. And I believe that the evidence is there. So I usually don't like to respond to those things. And the entire time that I have known her and she has attacked me, I have ignored her. You will rarely find a headline, except for when she got fired and all the headlines that were yesterday, that I have ever talked about Megyn Kelly ever, because I don't think about her. I am actually embarrassed for her that she does what she does. And so I think that when people hold up a mirror to you, that sometimes you just need to look in that mirror and go, you know what, maybe they're right. And so and let me just hold up a mirror, because she's saying that I did this or whatever. But here's a mirror. These are the times, some of them, not all of them, that she has attacked just me, has used me for content and to resurrect her career after she got fired. This is just some of the times that she has attacked me. You will rarely find a headline of me attacking or calling Megyn Kelly out, except for when she got fired and I had to analyze it. Evidence, proof. I got so many people responding to me, mostly women who work in TV news and some who work at Fox, who are so happy that I did what I did. Could not agree with you more on Megyn Kelly. She is a troll, a woman who worked with her. It's whatever, I won't give her name. On Megyn Kelly, I have no notes. Fire. Women. Mazel tov on your response to Megyn Kelly. The world has gone mad. These are women. And let me just say, because this is why one reason I did it, if she should be supportive of all women, even a black woman, even someone as a journalist who she disagrees with. So I just want to play, and I want you to listen to what she said about one of my former colleagues. And then I'll explain to you why I'm playing this and why I'm holding up a mirror for her on the other side of this. Here it is.
I will submit to the record, her biggest sin is not that she is biased, though she is. It's that she's boring. She's extremely boring with no personality. I have a pro tip for her. Smile. Try smiling every once in a while. Try not to be, like, in your delivery, such a cold-hearted bitch all the time, because it gives people nothing to bond to.
Now, as I said yesterday or the day before, how is that productive? How is that supportive of women? And quite frankly, how is that not sexist or misogynist? Because if you ask a woman, one of the biggest things that they hate is when a man tells them to smile, you would be more attractive. And that is what Megyn Kelly is doing. She's doing, quite frankly, what it shows in this video from, this is a cartoon. What is it, The Simpsons? Watch.
Hey, little lady, you'd be a lot prettier if you smiled.
What? Who are you?
I'm a man, so I know what I'm talking about. Smile and you'll be a lot more popular.
Are you serious? You know I'll remember this forever, right?
Well, that's what therapy's for.
Ladies, there is a thing, women hate it. Even the internet portrays men doing that, and women hate it. This is what the women who contacted me after I said what I said about you, I believe that this sort of encapsulates how they feel. Roll it.
Let me tell you. You my little boo thing, so I'll give a hoot what you do. Say, girl, I know you a little too tame. I'll be shooting that shot like 2K, girl, I know. Tell him I'm next. Tell him you find a little something too fresh.
Telling women to smile. That's their reaction. Tell a woman to smile. See what their reaction would be. So I'm just, last thing, and I don't know if I'll comment on it anymore unless she does something egregious. Megyn. Okay? I'm just saying. Maybe people would like you and the women would like you more if you weren't such a, what you said about my former colleague. And by the way, Megyn, let me just say something. Deal with your own house and tell your husband to stop looking at my husband across the room. It's weird. Okay? So I'll see you back here at 5 o'clock for Lemon Live at 5. And we're going to talk about the issues. We're going to talk about, you know, the thing that I told you, what's happening about the gold card, which is just really bizarre. That the president is saying something about offering citizenship and a gold card or what have you. And we have lots more to talk about. So on your way out, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure it affects the algorithm. You can subscribe, and then more people will become aware of what we're doing, our conversation, our channel here. So that's it. So thank you for watching. And as I say every single time that I sign off of this show, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.